So actually, it's a very long list what I wish I knew before moving to England because I didn't have many friends that lived there. I only knew some people, but they were not close enough that I could bother them with a ton of questions. I had a friend that lived there before and had to leave during the pandemic. And I don't know, on paper, England sounded like, for me, the best thing for my career and for my life at that point. And I just went for it with, let's say, as much research that I thought was good. But after moving there and actually living there, it's a totally other story. We're going to start by a few different things. We'll start by education, work, health, cost of living, and socializing. So you will see everything. So the first thing, and that is education, for me, it was all right. It is something, the master degree that I had, it is very equivalent to my job experience. So if you don't have any job experience, that master degree is great. If you do, I don't know how actually beneficial that is, depending on how comprehensive your job was. For me, I had an all hands job where I was doing so many different things in marketing that it almost had everything in my master degree except for psychology, which I didn't used to do in my job, but then it provided me with a marketing psychology perspective and helped me a lot. The second thing is healthcare. Healthcare in the UK is, I don't know if you heard anything about it, if you thought it was bad. No, it's worse than that. So for me, that is one of the biggest non-negotiables. I wasn't able to get good healthcare. I would get appointments with doctor. The only thing they would prescribe was paracetamol, and I wasn't really happy with the level of care I was getting because basically if it's something more than just a flu, it's so hard to get follow-up appointments. And if you need something a bit more complex, let's say like a fibroscopy, you need to wait 3 months to see if there is an appointment available. And in some of these cases I had to go back to my home country to get treated there because it was either that or just stay sick. And I stayed sick for almost 3 months in the UK without getting treatment. That's when I decided to go back. So that's one of the few things that I thought was, I wish if I knew about this before. Third thing, rent and how much of your salary do you actually get? Cost of living and all of that in one place. Let's say you get an average salary, like quite average, of £2,500 a month. How much of that is really gonna stay with you? Depending on where you live, the cheapest rent in a city like Bristol, because I'm not gonna talk about London. London prices are absolutely insane. In a city like Bristol, you'd pay at least, if you wanna have your own place, I think the cheapest thing I found was £1,000. And £1,000 I was paying on top of it £200 a month for council tax. It's a tax that you pay for your municipality basically, and then on top of it you pay £130 for gas, and on top of that you have water, you have internet. So the rent more or less comes up at 1,500. So you have 1,000 left. Out of that 1,000 left, you have 500 that you spend on groceries, more or less. I mean, a lot of my friends that I've been asking around about this were spending almost £600 on groceries each month. And the rest, let's say 500 are left, is everything that you need to spend with transportation. If you need anything else that month, if you need clothing, if you need something to fix in the house, if you, whatever, and going out, everything needs to be fit in that 500. And trust me, it's not a lot. What's left? Saving. I don't know if you can. I was able to save because I had a partner that was sharing the house expenses with me. But if you're single, it becomes a whole level harder. Last part, socializing. That is something that I thought was the best part about England. There is so much diversity and it's amazing. It's absolutely lovely to see how many different people there are with how many different backgrounds. And it's quite, at first I thought it was a bit hard to make new friends, but actually there are so many different ways to do so. I met some friends through university, I met some friends through work, but you also meet friends through apps. There is Bumble, which you can also use to meet friends, and I met a really good friend of mine. And there is Meetup, where you can go to events and make friends during those events. You can go for tennis, climbing, board games, whatever you actually are into, and make friends there too. So yeah, I wish if there was a video like this before I decided to go to England to kind of know what I was getting myself into. I'm making this video for you, just in case you need to know a bit more about England.